Welcome, everybody, to Brown and Browner. I believe we are post week 10 now of the NFL. Lots of good things, lots of crazy upsets last week we'll get into and everything else. But I'm gonna quickly let my partner say hello here, and then I'm gonna start with a feel-good story in sports. It kind of reflects what we've been doing here, honestly.
Well, can't wait for the feel-good story. We need some of those, especially the climate that we have in America today. The Democrats held up the government and extorted the government and all of this stuff that I heard. It's just a bunch of garbage. Just want to say hello. We're in the holiday season. I hope everybody's got their holiday spirits going. You're looking to get together with your family. We got some interesting things to talk about from week 10 that'll really help focus, where we are in the NFL and what's to come. And we'll be looking at week 11, but I want to get back to my partner. We can talk about some feel-good things. We need feel-good stories. So let's feel good for a moment. And I'll go ahead and transfer it back to you.
Yeah, we're always about bridging the gap here between sports and society, and we always have been since day one. And we want to highlight one of the good things that's happened within sport that should be more reflective of society, honestly. So I don't know if most of you are paying attention to college football these days, but big key matchup this past weekend was Texas Tech and BYU. I believe it was a 6-7 matchup in the new words of common nomenclature these days, all this annoying words. And needless to say, it was a top matchup between the best two teams in the Big 12. Texas Tech won the game, but that wasn't really the story in the game. At the beginning of the game, and I think it was a little exodus afterwards too in the media, came out that Texas Tech has a barber on staff, really well known. I think he's been on staff for over 10 years, does all the haircuts, maintenance, everything else for everybody, behind the scenes, never gets enough credit, that role across many, many teams that are there. But man's Hispanic, has a wife that's working class. These guys are busting their butt to try to obviously survive in society. Happens to be that his wife gets in a car accident that we find out about last week or something like that. A very unfortunate thing, high pile of medical bills, very unfortunate situation for the family. They've got a young child, everything else. What happens? BYU's fan base, their opposing fans' fan base, helps out on a drive to raise money for this young man and his family. They raise over $117,000, I believe, within 3 hours of finding out about this situation.
That's beautiful.
Between Texas Tech and BYU, it was a beautiful thing to see. People come support humanitarianism in the world. Aside from sport, it is a wonderful thing to showcase. I wish we would see more of it in society. Not to say that people should get hurt and this thing's kind of happen, but the fact that we can put aside differences, rivalries, anything of that sort, and come together and just help people.
I think that's a beautiful thing. I also think that it sort of underscores what the health costs truly are in our world. And that part is a little sad when you look at the rest of the world and how they handle the expensive health care for their people. And I heard another story. There's an actor, famous actor, don't know his name. It's a 3-word name, like 3 name. And he found out he had cancer, and he's trying to sell all of his memorabilia just so that he can pay for the costs.
Think about that for a second. That's how
these are people who we assume have enough money to be able to
pay for healthcare, at least basic healthcare at the very least in the world. And basic meaning you should be able to afford to saving your life. That should be basic healthcare, you would think.
You would think that should be the whole purpose of the healthcare, right?
Yeah. Yep. So we're in a sad state of it. And again, tying back to what my partner here said about, government shutdown and all this stuff about healthcare and everything else going on. Things have got to change. It's as simple as that. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Things have got to change to where, there's got to be better affordability for everything in society, day-to-day care, healthcare, school, daycare, everything, all these other topics that everyone talks about on a daily basis. How is that going to happen? Well, we technically vote in these people, politicians, to speak on behalf of the general populace and advocate for change and advocate for benefit of greater society. But is it really happening in the world? Not in this country, unfortunately.
Not in this country. And you know what? They have another midterm thing coming up and all of that. You be informed. Look at these people who are running. If you can find out, what did they vote on? How are they truly voting for the American people? They're supposed to be serving us. But I don't feel like that is actually happening. And I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican.
Exactly.
You're supposed to be serving the people, and I don't feel like that's happening.
No, and you're seeing it come out on both sides, where you're seeing a lot of the quote unquote legacy politicians that have been there for quite some number of times, both on the Democrat and Republican side, who are now retiring, stepping down, whatever. And you see some of these exposés come about, okay, well, as a senator or as a House member or whatever, they were making X. They entered office making X. Now they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars magically in thin air. Gee, I wonder how.
How they got there.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, let's talk about something very positive that brings people together, which is sports.
Yes, sir.
We had a wonderful week last week, some great upsets, some uncanny scores. There were a couple of games where there were blowouts. There were 44-22 in both cases. We had some 10-7 scores, a couple of 10-7
scores. Started ugly and we ended ugly. That's how it was. And in the middle,
yes, it was. Yes, it was. At one point, there was during the first game on Thursday, I even said this looked more like baseball because it was like 3-2 or something like that at one point. And it's like, these are baseball scores. How are professional football teams that practice all week long unable to score double-digit points?
Yep. No, it was pretty ridiculous, to say the least.
Well, and to that point, to start off, Broncos Raiders. The Broncos have found the solution. I don't know if it was like in a safe, like my daughter used to watch SpongeBob, and they had Plankton and Krusty Krab, Mr. Krab, and he would always hide his special secret, ingredients for his Krabby Patty. I think the Broncos found the secret ingredient that Kansas City had the last couple of years of winning close games, because they somehow win these games. I don't know how. I don't know if it's the other team losing it or them more winning it, but they seem to find a way to win.
It seems to be more of the other teams losing it. I mean, and again, so this is an interesting thing with the Broncos. If I'm looking at their win total correctly, obviously they are 7-2, 8-2, I believe, something of the sort. Mm-hmm. And we look back at their W. So let's start at the beginning of the season. First off, great win against the 49ers to start the season. And, Sean Payton had them ready. Great, go and go. Then you beat a very meek Cardinals team. Then you beat another downtrodden Saints team. Then you beat the Titans, which are also trash. You beat the Colts in a game that shouldn't have been won.
No, they gave it a touchdown away that would have blown them away, but instead gave them life, and they came back and won.
So there's one that the Colts should have won that they gave up to the Broncos. Then the Chargers beat the Broncos, so divisional win. So Broncos lost. Then they crushed the Bengals. Okay, expected. They beat the Eagles on a game that shouldn't have been won. Again. They beat the Jets in a game by 2 points where the Jets could have won.
The Jets should have won that game.
Three. The Giants, 4. We know that one.
Yeah, the Giants gave up the 20 points in the fourth quarter, 30 points.
We'll get to that too. We'll get to that too. Okay. Cowgirls, okay, easy win. So we'll stay at 4. Texans, another one, 5.
Should have lost that, won that game 18-15. 18-15, really?
Yep. And then the Raiders.
That, like a grammar school basketball game?
Yeah, Raiders also a missed field goal and a missed opportunity to go in the red zone and score. So 6. 6 wins. 6 wins for the Broncos that have come on games when they didn't do anything, in my opinion, and the other team blew it. So is this team for real? We'll see. We're going to find out in 2 weeks here. They play the Chiefs.
Yeah, we'll find out. Another thing, just another caveat there. How in the heck did they put the Raiders on Thursday Night Football and follow them up with Monday Night Football when they just plain out suck? I'm sorry. I don't want to see them on Monday night. I don't want to see them on Thursday night. Matter of fact, I don't want to see them Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening either.
Thursday Night Football was on a great streak of some unbelievably great games to watch, which was nice to see for a change. And I get that they're hosting a lot of the divisional and rivalry games now this season, which is great. This one just flat out sucked to watch. I turned it off.
It was horrible. It was horrible. And the Monday night game was just as bad too. Yeah. I went to watch it with some friends, and the Packers and Eagles, you thought it might be a high-scoring game, and 10-7. So we started the week off with a 10-7 victory for the for the Broncos, and we ended it with the Eagles winning 10-7. Those aren't football games. Those are football games from the 40s. That's not football games in today's world. Scores anyway.
So that book ended this weekend. Then you get started up in Germany with the Berlin game. And again, a game where the Falcons should have won the game.
The Falcons should have won that game. You picked the Colts. I picked the Falcons. I'm watching that and I'm going, oh my God, it just looks like the Falcons don't want to win this game. And surely enough, they found a way to allow the Colts to come back, go to overtime, and lose. right?
Yep. Now, hats off Jonathan Taylor for crazy ass rushing yards, but they were kind of given to you. It's like, here's the open hole, guy, go run.
I mean, he was running through. I could have run through those holes as slow as I am. All right. Well, I have to give credit to Jonathan Taylor, and I wish that they would do this.
Yeah.
I get that quarterbacks are the head the head of the team, and as the quarterback goes, the team goes for the most part. But Saquon Barkley should have won the MVP last year.
Yes.
Jonathan Taylor should win it this year. I don't care about the Josh Allen. I don't care about any quarterback and what they're doing, Daniel Jones. None of these guys would be anything without the running back establishing something to where the defense actually has to focus on that more so and allow the quarterback to be,
I'm going to name off a bunch of running backs where I can remember in recent memory, so the last 20 years, where they should have been the MVPs, and if they weren't, and it was a ridiculous thing. We'll start way back in the early 2000s, late 1990. Marshall Faulk.
Oh, right? Many times. Yeah.
Sean Alexander.
Oh, right. This Seahawks. He was really good. Yeah.
Damian Tomlinson.
Yep. Oh, LT, that.
Adrian Peterson.
Yep. AP, same thing. Sans the one issue he had, which I'm not sure how much of an issue that was. But that's just my perception.
No, yeah. But think of this. Priest Holmes.
And these are the guys that made their team, but the quarterback seems to get the praise.
Valuable player.
Yes.
Valuable player.
If we take you off that team, how great would your team be?
They suck. Yeah, as simple as that. So I don't understand when we decided to change in society or in voting history of basketball, football, and every other sport, where the definition of MVP didn't translate exactly into what my partner and I just said. Where if you take you off, this team sucks. Simple.
I mean, it should be like when Andre Dawson won the MVP playing for the worst team in the league.
Yep.
But you saw the value he had. He was the only thing. Walter Payton, we didn't mention him. Walter Payton should have been the MVP like 5 years, or 6 years, just because the importance that he had, not only to the team, but he was pretty much the face of the NFL when you talked about the old school, 3 yards in the dust, and all of that. That was Walter Payton playing on the worst team in the league with no blocking and still making stuff happen, but he gets overlooked,
Yep.
How do you overlook Saquon getting 2,000 yards? How are you overlooking Jonathan Taylor? They're saying, well, he might be in the MVP discussion. Might be. Give me a quarterback that has been that good. Daniel Jones would probably be the one, not Lamar, not Josh. Look at their records. Look at what their teams are doing. I would have to say Daniel Jones could be the MVP this year, but I feel like Jonathan Taylor has more value on that team than Daniel Jones.
Well, you know who it's probably going to end up going to, and we'll talk about this further too. It's probably Sam Darnold, honestly.
Oh, Sam Darnold. that he's done something. But again, is it Darnold or is it Njigba?
Well, it was Njigba. See, that's what I'm saying. And again, this goes back to like Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford. I mean, there you go. We got all this dynamic, and they don't realize just the value of a running back at the end of the day. I'm sorry, but when your running back puts up 20 touchdowns in a season, that's unheard of.
Unheard of. And again, that changes the whole dynamic from a defensive scheming standpoint. So your quarterback looks better as a result of you. Well, how often have you heard, if you can't run the ball, you can't pass the ball? Well, how come they don't get more of accolades and recognition for what running backs do? And I feel like it's almost like the NFL doesn't want that, because that's the old school game. It takes you 10 plays to get down the field. Maybe you have a big chunk play, whatever. But it's not that glamorous throwing the ball down the field. Tom Brady, look how great we are. We can score 40 points a game. It's not that. And they've been devaluing the running back position for the last decade.
In baseball, they like to get into statistics, and they like to put like wins above, WAR average, basically.
Yeah,
right?
WAR.
Guess what? If you put a WAR on a running back, let's think about this. The Colts were predicted to probably be like a mid-tier team, somewhere middle at best. Especially with Daniel Jones and all the transition and Anthony Richardson, all that other garbage going on.
They weren't even picked in their division. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you're talking Super Bowl aspirations, AFC championships, and all this. Well, guess what? It's because of one man, Jonathan Taylor. Simple. And that's what's called MVP status. I mean,
that's right.
I don't know what other way you can clearly define anyone else in the MVP category in the category this year, but hey, we'll let the NFL decide because they do all sorts of other stupid, analysis on
Yeah,
this.
makes you wonder because they're trying to market themselves. Is it the running back or is it the quarterback that's more glamorous and easier to market?
Yeah, well, good point. But that was Germany in a nutshell. Again, Falcons lost it, and the Colts won, and that's that. So now they're going to a bye week, and they'll play the Chiefs next week, which is going to be a great matchup, by the way. We'll get to that one too in a second. Jets Browns to kick off the week, which was just a battle of losers, but the Jets win.
And honestly, probably one of the better games out there if you look at it from a competitive standpoint and even a scoring standpoint, given the status of both of these teams.
There's only one takeaway I have from that game. Start Shedeur Sanders.
What? Okay, just briefly.
Even though he sucks.
At first, I thought it was just a thing. Yeah. Maybe they were trying to humble a young man. But now it's conspiracy level. Like, how are you not starting him when it doesn't matter? Dylan hasn't shown you anything.
Dylan Gabriel throw the ball.
Yeah. And Flacco, who was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year, is actually performing better in less games for the Cincinnati Bengals than he did for the entire season for your team.
Scratch my hold on an MVP. You don't get the MVP, Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. I'm with you on that one. So it's just funny to see that. I don't know why they're not starting Shedeur. You know what? I'm happy for the Jets, although it still is pretty funny. I forgot what the stats were because I remember looking at them for that game from an offensive standpoint for the Jets. Their offense was putrid.
Oh, yeah.
Just straight putrid. They scored 27 points, but you wouldn't know it from Justin Fields. I'm sorry. You might want to go back to Ohio State.
Like I said, my only two come-aways from that, A, start Shedeur Sanders, give him a chance. Let's see what the Browns can do. 2, Chiefs, you should have given up the third to get Breece Hall. That's all I can say.
Yeah, we should have gotten Breece Hall. Yeah. I mean, outside of him that game, there was no other offense.
No. So, and now they've lost Garrett Wilson for 3 weeks. So, hey, good luck to them. It's just ridiculous.
Well, they'll have another high draft pick and still suck.
And trade them away. Texans, Jags. So, again, Lord Farquaad had a chance to win this game, by the way.
How did they lose this game? That was another one of those like the Giants-Broncos. Like, how did they lose that game?
Remember, people were anointing this Jags team after they beat the Chiefs, and all of a sudden now they're the bottom of the division.
Straight downhill.
And Houston's on the come up despite having C.J. Stroud injured. Think about that.
Well, you know what's funny about that? The Buffalo Bills beat the Chiefs, and what have they done since? They lost to the Dolphins last week. The Dolphins that were just a couple weeks ago, we're talking about firing their head coach, GM, and their quarterback. And they beat the Buffalo Bills that were supposedly the favorites at one point to win the Super Bowl.
When you think crack dealer Mike and the kids are supposed to be written off and everything else, all of a sudden they pull off a miraculous win just to save another week and before the firing. It's just ridiculous.
You gotta love it. Oh, and you know what? McDonald's, you get a little pub there. I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. How did the Bills lay an egg in this one? Seriously.
I don't understand that. I really don't. It was like a whole different team out there. Josh looks so human. He's fumbling the ball around and all sorts of weird things that you just don't expect from the Bills.
I don't understand this one at all. James Cook was dead. Everything was dead in this game.
Like I said, they shot their wad when they beat the Chiefs a couple weeks ago.
Pretty much. And again, this is an indictment on Sean McDermott, where sometimes this guy's just not stable at winning games as a coach, and that's the sad truth of it. So he always gets black, and this is one of those examples.
Well, and how about the Panthers? Just real quick, since it wasn't a meaningful game in the sense of the word meaningful, Panthers should have just wiped the deck with the Saints. They were playing decent ball, and how do you lose?
Another inexplicable, this week is just full of inexplicable things in the NFL. The Panthers here are coming off high, they're beating some decent teams and have a winning record, and then you lay an egg to the Saints. And
to the Saints. They don't even want to play the game, and they beat you. Come on, man.
They do have the brown paper bags and the necklaces and everything already out.
Come on.
Ridiculous. Now, the man I think gets you a coach of the year is Mike Vrabel. Patriots Bucks.
100% agree. Because who had the Patriots? They got the best record in the league right now, right? Tied with Indianapolis. How?
Yep, they're
How
two games
are
up
they
on the Bills.
doing?
2 games up on the Bills in the AFC East. Think about that for a second, folks.
How do you have that? And another thing, Vrabel was a cast off from a team that couldn't accomplish anything. He comes to the Patriots. Talk about being able to. He has to be coach of the year to be able to get all of these guys to buy in after they've had some horrible seasons, to then turn it around like this. And I'm sorry, it isn't that because you brought Stephon Diggs over, even though he's playing like he was back, in his Minnesota days. And as long as he shuts up, it'll be okay. But how are you doing this? The defense looks solid. They've got players like Booty playing his booty off. Yeah, Booty getting his booty going, baby. You got to love it. They're doing it without Ramon Stevenson, who I thought was their best back, but he's been injured the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
How do you, Vrabel, my cap's off to you. The Titans didn't know or didn't appreciate what you had done for that franchise and just kicked you to the curb.
I mean, perfect example. I think week 2 or 3, whenever they play the Titans, they go to Tennessee, and Tennessee fans are cheering for Mike Vrabel. How bad! Like, that tells you what kind of screw up that franchise had. At that point, they knew what they had.
Hey, how about the Ravens? So 2 games I thought were interesting. We're talking about the Patriots. We both picked the Buccaneers. Patriots beat them in Tampa Bay. That speaks volumes. That took some of the Baker Mayfield MVP discussion down a little bit. That game was somewhat surprising, but it also reaffirmed that New England was for real. And I love the video you sent me where the dude did the rap and he said, Drake May? Yeah, Drake May is good. Like he's for real.
This is the real Drizzy.
Yeah,
not that Canadian shit.
Yeah, baby. You go ahead.
Canada, but he doesn't have to go to Canada to get that Drake status. No, this is the real Drake.
And the other game I thought was interesting, but we both picked the Ravens. Are the Ravens going to win the NFC or AFC North?
Easily. I can say that unequivocally right now after watching the Steelers this past week.
And that's so funny to say that because the Steelers had a really good game. Now they went back to being the Steelers. The Ravens were what, 1-5 at one point?
Yep.
1-5. And Vegas and everybody else still had them winning the division. They were still the favorites to win the division at 1-5.
1-5. They're a game out from winning the division. Think about that.
And they get to play the Steelers once or twice, right?
Right.
So, and the rest of the teams in the division suck. So they're not even, the Bengals. The Bengals don't suck. Their defense.
No. Let's pump the brakes. Mr. Flacco is going to get revenge.
It doesn't matter what he does, though. I mean, against the Bears, they scored 39 points. If you could just, you know what? And they're talking about bringing Burrow back. They actually have him. He's in practice now. I'm sorry, but sit him down because if you have to score 45 points to win a game and run for your life while you're doing it, what's the point of even putting him out there?
I tell you what, if Cincinnati puts up another 40 burger and still loses this week, I still start Joe Flacco the rest of the season.
I would too. 100% agree.
Yeah.
What's the point of putting your franchise player at risk when you don't have a chance to win?
When your defense can't even hold, your defense couldn't hold a slimy piece of glue. I don't know. I don't even know what a good analogy is there. They're that bad.
They are horrible. They're like the colander with the big holes. Like they're just so bad. And the funny thing is, between the DC there and the DC in Dallas, neither one of them should have a job. Neither one of them.
First off, the Bears made the mistake of hiring that dude.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt.
Speaking of the Bears, another game the Giants blew.
I don't know how the Bears came back and won that game, but honestly, the last 2 weeks, I don't know how they got themselves in the situations that they were in.
It's another bad thing. Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, they're winning. I'm happy for it. I picked them. You picked the Giants. Caleb, I still feel like he has the potential and the tools, but there's just something that causes him to hold the ball too long. And again, this is the NFL. 1% of the elite athletes make it to the NFL. Yep. You have to get the timing down. If you're watching someone and they're open and you go 1-2 and throw the ball, they're not open anymore.
I'm going to say this much, and this is going to be a fun little controversial take for all these little Bears fans. You're 6-3. You're riding some sort of high like we're some sort of good team. Let me point out your wins again real quick this year. You've beaten You've beaten the Cowgirls. You beat the Raiders. You beat the Commanders. You beat the Saints. You beat the Bengals, and you beat the Giants.
Didn't we beat the Steelers? I thought we beat the Steelers.
No, that was a preseason thing. So you actually blanked the Bills in preseason too, 38-0, by the way.
Yeah,
but anyway, your 6 wins are against teams that barely have 6 wins together.
That's true. And the toughest part of the schedule is coming up because you start playing within the division. We have a couple of games against Green Bay. We got the Lions at the end of the year.
You already lost to the Vikings, and now you play them again this week.
Yes, we have to win that.
Let's see what happens after a 6-week projection of you actually showing that you've improved. Because if you lose to the Vikings, you're back down to nothing.
Well, and that's the thing. And while they look like they're in the playoffs right now, I'm a realist. I've been a Bears fan a long time, so it taught me to, I've been a Chicago fan a long time. So you become a realist.
Yeah.
The Bears could potentially lose 6 out of the next games playing. They potentially could lose. If you look who they're playing, we got to play the Eagles.
It's all winning teams. It's all winning teams that you're supposed to supposedly be in contention with. So prove me wrong. That's all I'm going to say.
See. The games against Green Bay are going to be huge. The one against the Lions, since we got blown out by the Lions, if we can beat the Lions,
because of how tight the NFC North is, every divisional game is a must-win now.
Yeah, I would agree.
And even the Eagle game is a must-win.
Yeah, what's that?
Even the Eagle game's a must-win because now you're at a jockey for seeding.
Right.
So good luck.
Right. So we'll see what happens. Caleb, you better put on some new fingernail polish.
Little gel finish on that thing.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
There were a few more games the Lions blew out. So the 2 games with the Lions blowing out the Commanders and the Seahawks blowing out the Cardinals. Both of those games finished 44-22. Weird coincidence.
Hey, we're talking about 2 teams that could meet in the NFC Championship game. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be a fun run for those 2 teams down the stretch.
Agree, and don't forget about the Rams. They handled the 49ers. They
another 42. Matt Stafford. I'm telling you, if he grew up in any other era than the Brady, Manning, and everything else era, this might be the guy we're talking about at the end of the day.
I don't even think it's that. I think if he'd have grown up or if he'd have been on a team
anywhere but Detroit.
Yeah, that was the problem. He was in Detroit. I mean, he had Megatron. They set some records, but it's Detroit, and they couldn't win games. So
no, that's exactly it. And look
that
at
Georgia boy is bad. That boy bad.
Boy bad, and that boy built to play QB. No question asked. Yes. And then Sunday night, another dud game. Chargers Steelers.
Steelers boring as heck. Chargers pulled it out. And then we had the Monday nighter.
The Monday nighter was just flat out ugly. I mean, I don't know what to make of the situation. I mean, we already know the Eagles' play calling sucks. They've got a crybaby wide receiver, and he came out again yesterday, and he's like, well, I'm just complaining because our offense isn't contributing. Well, your play calling sucks, whoever your offensive coordinator is. That's step one. And you guys can't execute when you even get the ball, and you're not getting Jalen Hurts the ability to get the ball to you. So you can't explain the Eagles right now. You really can't. It's hard to do.
You really can't. But again, I think it's Saquon. They've gotten away from Saquon. I don't know. I would feed the guy 25 times a game. If they're trying to save for the playoffs, you might burn yourself because you might not have home field advantage. And then what? And I'm sorry, AJ Brown. I think we've lifted him to the status of elite receiver, but has he really been that elite? Is he really that elite? And he's sitting here. You are winning. And I'm sorry, this is a team sport. And then you go, well, I'm not a diva and it's not about stats, but I'm not getting the ball and our offense isn't contributing, which you're basically saying I'm not getting the ball by saying the offense isn't contributing.
When you and I were younger, which I'm not going to say that we're not old. We're not old. I don't think we are, but I'm talking later, I'm talking late 1900s, which is 1990s and 2000s. It took 1,500 yards by a wide receiver to consider them elite. Now we're giving elite status to guys that get like 900, 1,000 yards.
Yeah, 1,000 yards.
AJ Brown has barely 3 seasons maybe where he's at 1,000 yards. You call that elite?
And they've been throwing the ball more to Devontae Smith. And guess what? He's been looking like the guy who won the Heisman when he was in college.
Yes, exactly.
I think they should be getting rid of AJ Brown. I think they might even tried to, but they couldn't because nobody wanted.
I think it's the perfect setup for Howie Roseman, greatest GM on the planet right now, and maybe for a while, honestly, because of how mastermindingly he manages that budget. But I think that's his next move is to get rid of AJ Brown because that's going to be huge money.
Yes.
He's already paid Devontae Smith for 5 years. So that's locked. then his next step is just he's got Barkley on lock, he's got Hurts on lock. Pay the defense. Guess what? You still got a dynasty running.
Yeah.
So
I would agree
it's
with
not
that.
that hard for that man.
I would agree with that. If they want to keep it going, get rid of some of the fat. Don't pay guys who don't deserve it. And we've said this many times. I don't care how great you may think you are. This is a team sport. So if you are the guy that's in the locker room that's saying all the bad things and doing the things that A.J. Brown is doing, you shouldn't be on that team, period. Because we can do it without you. We've shown that. And now you're complaining that you're not getting enough, throws, whatever it is. Get out, go somewhere else.
Here's some fun for you. So, I think over the weekend it came out that part of the Micah Parsons trade was this poison pill, whatever you want to call it, right? So that basically the Packers can't trade Micah Parsons to anybody in NFC East for the next 3 years. Fine. Okay, great little tidbit. I love it. You won't be great. I want to see the Eagles trade A.J. Brown to the Packers because the Packers don't have shit on the wide rreceiivers.
They don't. And the funny thing is, just a year or two ago, they supposedly had the best three-headed monster with Watson and Dubs and all of these guys. But boy, they look like they suck now.
Pedestrian and frankly, Jordan Love, you ain't looking like brother Love. He ain't looking like shit right now.
I got no love for you, baby. You're throwing the ball all over the place. What was that thing?
Love has better quarterback skills than you do.
You know what? I think we're too quick to.
Everybody's looking for the next great thing in Green Bay. That's the problem. We rush to it. You rush to it.
But we're too quick to anoint players and give them a certain status, like we were just talking with A.J. Brown, when I don't feel like they truly earned it. Like 1 year does not make a thing. Ask Jaden Daniels about that. You need to be able to do that and sustain that over a period of time to prove that you're an elite quarterback or an elite receiver or an elite running back. Yeah. You just have to. And I think we forget to do that. Hey, you know what?
Yep.
I think we've covered the last week. Let's talk about these games
yes, sir.
that are coming up because there are going to be some interesting ones, one of which isn't the Thursday game. The game tonight is not the interesting one, in my opinion.
As long as the Patriots don't lay an egg and something else just, bizarrely happens like it did last week, we should be fine on this one. It's in New England. Mike Vrabel doesn't have bad games as far as I've seen in his career as a coach. And, this is Drake May's national parade as far as I'm concerned. He better put up like 4 TDs probably today against the Jets.
I think he can. As a matter of fact, I don't even think they'll need to.
They're
Jets
2 touchdowns. Yeah, they're two TD favorites, so it should be a blowout.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have Wilson, and Justin Fields can't throw the ball to him anyway. All they got is Breece Hall. You just stuff the run with 9 in the box, you probably are good.
Yep. No, this is going to be a quick and easy game. So I think both of us are going Patriots on this one pretty easy this week.
Yep.
Now, start off. We'll wait for our game, the Chiefs Broncos game. Let's start off with the morning game, the 9:30 game, if you will, out in Madrid. Commanders Dolphins. So, Jaden gone. You got Mariota now. Unfortunately, you've got I don't even know what to say about this Commander team at this point. Now, interestingly, Dan Quinn's going to take over the play calling apparently, so that might have some change or effect. Crack Daniel Mike over there in Miami apparently is coming off a high. I don't know what to make of this game. Miami's actually favored by 2.5, believe it or not.
And I'm actually taking Miami, to be honest.
I might go Miami, actually.
I just don't know what Washington is this year without Daniels being at the helm. Mariota has flashes. They don't run the ball consistently. They can't pass the ball consistently. I just
Jerry
don't know.
McLaurin hasn't seen the field for half the game, which is ridiculous. I mean, you signed into a contract, he hasn't even shown up half the games.
The one game he showed up, he looked incredible. Made a great toe-tapping catch here, did it all, and then he disappeared again.
Yep. No, like I said, you can't get him, Debo, Krosky, Merritt. You can't get them all on the field at what hurts. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they got the weapons, but I just don't know what. And McLaren is more like Anthony Davis in basketball. He'll show up for 3 games. That's all you get. You ain't getting anything more.
True, very true. But no, I'm going Miami on this one too. I mean, frankly, Achane can still run. They still got Waddle. I mean, they're still operating as far as I'm concerned. And Tua, even with one eye, is still able to throw a ball. So it is what it is.
How about Packers Giants? This is an interesting game because we got Jameis, who's going to be the quarterback. And they're loving all of this sound bites and this, interviews.
I'm gonna go psycho on this one. I'm going Giants only because of Jabu. Honestly, I think Jabu's fired up. think Jabu is fired up. I think he's going to come out there with a little swagger, a little rhyme time, a little inspirational, speech. Everything else, I think he's going to get it going. And it's in New York. The Packers. I mean, this team's an enigma to me. You sit there and you tie the Cowboys. You can't beat the game. You can't win the game you're supposed to win. You can't even show up on your own home field twice now.
Twice. And you put up nothing. This is a team that should be able to. Their defense is holding teams under 17, but they can't score 17 to win.
Yep. So no, I you know what? I'm going G-Men. I'm going Jabu and the boys.
Yeah, I'm actually going. I can't go. I'm sorry. I just can't take because you know what? Jameis might throw 3 interceptions.
50-50 ball.
He could throw 3 touchdowns.
And three TDs for an INT the other way. Yeah.
Yeah. You just never know. He's going to preach the Lord at you, and he's going to give you all these funny quotes and what have you. He's just so unpredictable. I just can't go with him. I don't care. I think he's laid off the crab legs enough. I think he's going to show up in this one. He actually paying for him now.
Yeah, he's paying them. Exactly. He's paying the New York prices.
I got the Packers just solely on the fact that I think the defense is going to show up, and I think Jameis might throw an interception or 2 or 5. So I'm going to take the Packers. The next one, just want to skip by quickly for time constraints. Texans. The Titans can only beat themselves.
Easy. Nope, that one's easy.
Yep.
There are some interesting matchups. Sorry?
What'd you say?
No, I said that now comes the interesting ones back and forth. Yep.
Yeah, I was just going by what I got offline. Yep. Panthers against the Falcons in Atlanta.
Well,
last game they played, I think the Panthers beat the Falcons 30-0.
Panthers beat them bad, and we don't know what to make of this Atlanta team either. Again, a team with lots of pieces. Drake London's looking like a stud, honestly, if you can actually get him the ball. Penix, if he could stay on his feet, could actually get there. You don't even use Bijan Robinson. Explain me this one.
It's again, there's something wrong here because Bijan could be the best running back in the league. They're not using him, but there seems to be a thing across the league. Don't use Saquon. Don't use Derrick Henry. Don't use what's going on here. But the Colts are using Jonathan Taylor, but all the other teams seem to refuse to do that.
Think about that final drive that Atlanta had in Germany or whatever. They go with Algier the entire way, which Algier is great. Don't get me wrong. He's great. But you got Bijan Robinson.
What's going on there? I don't understand. I mean, and they scored one drive, the drive before that with Algier, but you got one of the best running backs in the league and you refuse to give him the ball or even put him on the field.
Only because of stupid play calling like that am I going with the Panthers again, because Rico and the boys, they're doing something out there. And frankly, they are coming off a stupid game where they shouldn't have lost to the Saints. This doesn't make sense.
And they scored 7 points?
Yeah, but Rico and Chuba and those guys, they got something kind of going there. So I'm going to go with that one.
Okay. I got the Falcons. I'm taking the Falcons. Yeah. I'm going to trust Penix will get his act together. And they're going to sort of wake up and realize that this is their last gasp at this season.
Yeah.
Where many people picked them as a dark horse, and they're just horse shit right now.
This is their last hope at the NFC South, because otherwise it's Tampa and you're done, basically.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
Vikings, Bears lost to Minnesota at home when they should have won that game. JJ McCarthy coming out game. Now as we mentioned earlier, every division game is important. Will the Vikings show up? Or will the Bears show up? Will the Bears have enough miracles in their pocket, given the holiday season, to be able to find 34th Street and score a touchdown when they need it at the end of the game? I'm taking the Bears.
I'm going Vikings because Caleb Williams is going to find a manicurist in Minneapolis. So it's a simple. I'm sorry, but as I just said earlier, the Bears have beaten shit. They're beating shit, and everybody's giving a high horse. Oh, he's operated well. You've operated well against shitty defenses. Prove me against a good team. You've lost to the Vikings already at home in Soldier Field to start the season. Now you're going to Team Skull, halfway to Canada.
Well, the question is, are the Vikings a good team?
Well, that's their question mark. So can J.J. McCarthy get the ball to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison at the end of the day? Can they establish the run game with Aaron Jones Sr.? Honestly, it hasn't been stable. It has not been stable.
No.
And unless the Bears can play defense like they're supposed to and mark up on Jefferson and force the ball to the other folks, which doesn't happen, That's what's going to come down to. It's not going to come down to the Bears putting up points. It's going to come down to the Bears playing defense, honestly,
And
to stop
I
them.
think that's it right there. Because some of these games they started to lose and they were winning because their defense just gave up. I agree with you there. But I got the Bears. You got the Vikings.
Yes.
Next, this will be an interesting game. Lord Farquhar is playing at home against the Chargers. Are the Chargers for real?
Chargers are on the come up again because they're getting stable again. They're like I said, their biggest problem was the fact that they have nothing in the backfield right now. Vidal is not the answer, and they're on their sixth running back. That's their biggest problem. No help there. Justin Herbert's still going to be able to throw the ball. Keenan Allen's still seeing, age 40 at age 30 kind of thing, and he's still that stable guy. Matt McConkey is, that Southern boy that's still going to get that ball. Quentin Johnson's been erased from the offense, but they got that tight end now.
Yeah. So they got some things going on there.
I like their offense. Their defense is starting to pick up. So Bosa's starting to run. All these guys are starting to pick up a little bit in their defense to where they're creating an elite pass rush. I think Lord Farquhar is going to run for his life in this game. I'm going Chargers on the road on this one.
Same with me. I think the Chargers are going to keep pace. I think they realize, again, we were talking about this isn't divisional play, but I can tell you if they want to keep up with the Broncos, they're going to have to keep winning.
Well, this is a seeding game. Right now, the Jags are the last team in on the AFC, which is really strange to say. And the Chargers are in. The Chiefs are out. And in order for the Chargers to get the tiebreaker still, they need to beat the Jags. So, I think there's going to be an elevated height there.
All right. Game of the week.
Yep.
Buccaneers.
Interesting turnaround. Both teams coming off losses. So this is going to be interesting. Can Baker and the boys muster up enough health, I think is their biggest thing, health, to kind of get going. They're still going to be without Bucky Irving. I think people aren't telling us enough about Bucky Irving's injury, but I think he's out for the season, honestly, the way it makes it sound.
You're probably going to hear that soon.
Yeah, so you got Rashard White and the other guy that's running pretty well right now. So you have their backfield. Their wide receiver core is in decimation. Mike Evans gone. Chris Godwin can't find 2 games where he stays alive on the field twice enough.
Right. But the big E is the big E. That
Buka is legit. But then, can you get the ball to Buka, Otten, and then the backfield enough to keep up with score? This game is in Buffalo. And because Buffalo needs a bounce back, I'm going Buffalo in this game. Just frankly, the Bills are going to have to get back on track. And I think this is going to be a must-win game. And I think they're going to come up with a point of emphasis to kind of get going in this game, especially against the Bucs.
I'm actually going to pick the upset here. The Bucs lost against the Patriots. They're going to become a little desperate, even though they should win their division because it's just a weak division. I think, again, they're going to need that for seeding purposes. I just feel like the Buccaneers, even with all their injuries, are going to be able to beat the Bills. I think the Bills are having some internal issues right now, and they're going to need to pick it up. Yeah,
the Bills defense sucks. And Buka could carve it up easily. There's no question. And so could Baker. So, no, I'm not surprised by that one. But like I said, only reason I'm taking the Bills because they're at home right now. That's it.
Yep. So that's one of the big games. I feel like the other big game, I'm just going to skip a couple real quick, is Seahawks against the Rams.
Huge matchup. 7-2 teams coming off great wins, coming off a very strong, solid offense and defense for both teams.
For both teams.
Very right now. I'm going to go with the experience card on this one. I'm staying with the Rams.
Me too.
Matt Stafford, the guy's a winner. We know that. And the fact of the matter is him and Puka are back. And you got the other guys. The Rams are looking crazy solid. They still got that pass rush. The Seahawks, they're great. Don't get me wrong. They're going to put up offensive numbers like crazy. Can the Seahawks newly minted defense, because they're young on defense.
But they look good.
They're young. So I don't think they're going to keep up in a pressure-packed game like this, especially against a Sean McVay coach team. That's the reason I'm going with the Rams.
Okay.
But it's going to be a close game.
And I'm going to say pretty much the same thing. I feel like the Rams defense is sometimes underrated. Those boys can get at it. I think, even with the Seahawks having a nice balanced attack with the running and the passing, I'm still going to take the Rams. The Rams got some running and passing too, even though they might not have Devontae Adams this week.
Right. No, like I said, I like that Rams team. It's experienced. It's got a great balance. I just like watching them. It's fun to watch.
All right, and I'm going to leave our Chiefs for a little bit of the last so we could close out with that. Yep. Ravens, Browns, I don't know if that's much of a conversation.
This is a proving ground to have the Ravens continue their momentum at this point. They're getting back into resurgence. They're going to be a game out. I think they're going to get an easy W against the Browns this week.
Yep. 49ers, against the Cardinals in Arizona. I don't think Brissett looked good one week, boy. He looked really bad last week.
Yep. Nope, that makes sense to me. Easy
Same
enough.
thing.
And then the only other quote unquote garbage game is the Bengals and Steelers. But this could actually be interesting.
Steelers in Pittsburgh. What's
it
that?
It could actually be interesting.
Divisional games between these two usually are. And we got the Flacco thing there where they could score 40 against the Steelers.
I might take an odd bet on it. I mean, the Steelers have just looked crashy on defense, to say the least. But you know what? The over-under on this game is 48. I'm going way over on this one. I think Flacco and Aaron Rodgers are going to have a shootout in this game.
That's very possible. Who would win that shootout, though?
I'm going to go Jamar Chase and the boys. I'm going Bengals on the road.
I am going to take the Steelers at home.
I wanted to. I'm
going to take the Steelers at home. I think the Steelers
need to bounce
back. Yeah, I have a feeling, as much as I want to say it's going to be high scoring, I'm not sure what the weather's going to be like in Pittsburgh, but I just have this feeling.
I did forget about that factor. So on the East Coast this weekend, there's going to be a lot of rain, actually. I've got a little trip plan myself this weekend. I just realized there's going to be a lot of rain. You know what? I'll take that back. I'll go Steelers because of the run game. Sorry.
Oh, you suck, man. I was looking for another one that we didn't match up.
I forgot about the wet conditions this weekend on that front. So, yeah.
That's the only thing that I'm looking at. If it's a low-scoring game, I think the Steelers can win that. Yeah. If it's a high-scoring game, I agree with you. I think the Bengals will win that.
Yep.
Okay. One last Monday night game. Cowboys, Raiders. Is there much of a discussion here?
Could be.
I mean, you never know, because the Cowboys could give up 40 to the Raiders.
Showing up for the Cowboys. I mean, at the end of the day, should the Cowboys win? Yeah, I'm going to go Cowboys. But I don't know what the heck's going to show up for them these days. Nobody does.
You never do, with that team. So that leaves us two really good games.
Yes.
Actually, there are four really good games on the slate. We already talked about two of them. I'm going to leave our Chiefs for last. We'll close out on that. Lions, Eagles. That's a very interesting matchup in Philly. Lions are looking good. Their offense is looking good. Their defense is actually playing a little bit. Philly is Philly right now, and I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we saw this last year. It seems like they play their best when everybody thinks they're in some kind of internal issue and about to implode. But then they bring out the best. So
I don't like their play calling right now on offense, but the fact of the matter is they've got every playmaker available on every side of the ball. And because of that, I figure at some point it's all going to show up. And frankly, this is the kind of week where the media is sitting there creating the drama on A.J. Brown and everything else, where all of a sudden you're going to see the Eagles snap to it and win. And frankly, I'm going Eagles because they're at home.
Yes.
Jared Goff is being forced to go on the road. And frankly, over the last few weeks, one of the things I've kind of appreciated the fact that the Lions are kind of a turf team in a way. They play indoors. They kind of thrive on it because of their speed.
Like Indianapolis. Indianapolis is another one of those teams. Yep.
And I haven't seen that team really survive on a grass field openly on the road yet. And that's the reason I'm going to go Eagles over Lions in this instance. Now, if this was in Detroit, I might go Eagles. But because it's in Philly, I'm going Eagles.
You mean you might go Lions if it was in Detroit?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
This is another one of my upset games. I'm going to pick the Lions. I feel like they've got their offense. Yeah, and I think that they have enough of a running game to keep the Eagles honest. And if they can keep the Eagles honest, that can hold that rush off with some play action passing. They got Amon, they got Laporta, they got Williams. I think that they have a lot, and I don't think if the Eagles have played like they have the last few weeks, they're not going to win this game. So I got the Lions.
One of the reasons I like the Eagles defense, and it's only one side of the ball, unfortunately, is that boy Billie Jean Cooper DeJean.
He's been doing some things.
That white boy bad on the secondary. And
he's been doing some things.
So the problem is he doesn't have second side help. And that's where, like I said, if they can take care of Jameson Williams and get him the ball, meaning Jared Goff.
Jared Goff,
If Goff can get him the ball like they're supposed to, and frankly, with Dan Campbell supposedly taking over the play calling, apparently that happened last week.
That did happen last week.
So that could get interesting. All
right, last but not least, our beloved Chiefs are going to Denver to play the Broncos, and talk about a key game. There's no way that they're going to, and it's weird saying this, but I'm not sure the Chiefs can make the playoffs. They definitely can't win the division if they don't beat the Broncos this weekend.
It's a must-win for the Chiefs, and obviously I'm going Chiefs for 2 reasons. One is the most obvious reason. It's not because I'm a fan. Andy Reid off a bye? What do we know about this history? Every time, W. No questions.
Yeah.
You don't think they've been planning for this all week, all 2 weeks now for the Broncos? Absolutely. So you know what? He's going to figure out ways to outsmart Sean Payton. Now, Sean Payton does have that defense, and they're going to bring a lot of pressure up front. And this is where I hit the trouble spot for the Chiefs is right now, and I said it before. The running game sucks right now.
Yes.
So, yes, Patrick Mahomes is going to have to get the ball out, use our receivers and everything else. Can they do it? Absolutely, especially with what's his name out. Patrick Surtain is out again, which is unfortunate. So, because of that, I think we can expose the Rashee Rices, all the other matchups on the outside to take advantage and hopefully put up a few TDs early to force the Broncos to have to chase. Because one of the things we've seen this year is unless a defense falls apart, Bears, then frankly, the Broncos cannot chase in a game. They're not built for it at the end of the day. Cortland Sutton and the boys, they're not built to come back in a game. They're front runners because they have a great running game, everything else going, J.K. Dobbins, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I think as long as the Chiefs can put up the ball first, they'll be good. Now, the run game is a problem. Kareem Hunt is not your long-term solution. He can't be a 3-down back.
That's why we should have gotten Brees.
That's why we needed Brees. Can the rookie, Smith, spell us enough in the backfield to get us a little bit more time for Patrick to throw? Because that's something we saw during the Bills game. Patrick got barely 3 seconds to get rid of the ball.
Well, and that's the other thing. If we can't run the ball, the running backs at least need to know how to block and pick up the right players. And I think Smith missed one that I saw last week. And the other running backs actually aren't the greatest blockers either. I would say Kareem's better than Pacheco. But I think that's going to be key. I think they also need to remember something. Even though he's not running the best routes, he's not fast as he used to be, you got some speedsters that should be opening the field. The hash marks are where Kelsey should be operating, and he should be able to take advantage of that. I would still think that Kelsey against the linebackers should be advantage Chiefs.
It should be an advantage Chiefs in that situation. Absolutely. I think that honestly should be a focal point, but I don't know if it will be. That'll be the interesting thing to see.
It hasn't been for the last year and a half. I don't know. Is that like a Taylor Swift boycott? Like, I'm not going to throw to your boy because I don't like you, Taylor.
Yeah, right. Something of that sort. But no, we're going Chiefs in this one, and I think we've had enough time to game plan at this point. They are favored by 3.5 on the road right now. Low scoring game. A lot of people going.
Why are the Chiefs favored if they're playing in Denver?
Well, it goes back to what I said. Look at Denver's W's.
Yeah, but
it's as
they got a good defense and they're playing at home. You get 3 points automatically as the home team. So they're saying that the Chiefs are a 6-point favorite?
6-point favorite, yeah.
That's a lot. That's saying a lot.
Now, the other thing I don't like in this game, and this is going to be the odd take, I still don't like Harrison Butker kicking for us right now. That dude's missing way too many balls as far as
he has recently. And I actually
playing at Mile High, that's a concern.
Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree with that. But who else do you have?
Well, here's the interesting hot take. Guess who's eligible as of 2 days ago on the open market?
Who?
Take a stab at it. Let's just say he was kind of exiled from the NFL for a short time here now. He went to a few too many massage parlors.
Oh, Bucker.
Justin Tucker.
Yeah,
Justin Tucker is now eligible.
Wow. Wow. I didn't think about him. Now he's been so good for so long.
I mean,
that's actually a great potential pickup there. Plus,
the thing about the Bills are on a backup kicker right now. You're telling me that if they get in a playoff chase, they're not going to go after somebody like a Justin Tucker despite character issues and crap like that?
I think they would.
Absolutely.
I really do. Yeah.
But it's going to be an interesting. There's something to be wary of over the next 3, 4, 5 weeks as the playoffs get rending up. You might see some of these contender teams going, put personal differences aside.
Get what you need. Yep. Like Dennis Rodman. The Bulls got what they needed. They got Dennis Rodman, even though he was with the bad boys and he was an enemy, and he became a friend, and they won 3 championships. So that's what you do if you're trying to win.
So no, like I said, I haven't been happy with Butker. He's gonna have to go play at Mile High. Kansas City's always had a close game with Broncos in Denver. It's always been the case since the Elway days and even before that. This is a rivalry at the end of the day. So it's gonna be a close game. I mean, it's only a 44-point cover at this point. A lot of people are gonna go on the under. It's gonna be a low scoring affair potentially, but I think the Chiefs need to put up 30 to win this game.
I think you might be right on that one. I just hope they can.
They can. Yeah, that's a question. Yep.
Well, that's wrapped it up for this week, folks. And again, just to get back to what we started with, we need to extend our arms more to each other and find ways to find similarities and leverage those to help build the relationships that we've broken over the last year or two. We need to be able to come together as a society and do what's best for people. Not doing what's best for some blowhard or some rich person, but for all people. And I hope that you take today as an opportunity to go out and meet someone who doesn't look like you. Maybe you make a new friend. Learn more about something that might help you contribute to our society in a way that brings us together as a community, and not something that separates us. Because I might not look like you. I might not even look like my partner here. But we've developed a relationship because we don't look at our differences. We look at our similarities and the things that make us good people.
Now, along that same vein, I also say, we're a couple days late, but happy Veterans Day to those who have served. We thank you for your service by all means.
Yes, we do. We thank you for your service.
And it goes to what my partner just said about this week. I mean, and not just this week, but all the time. We should be respecting those who do things for others. And that's exactly what veterans have done for us for a number of years, thankfully.
Very, very good. Yeah,
we live in a good place in America where we have afforded freedoms, to say the least. Where many places you do not. And it is thanks to those who have served in that capacity. So respect to you. And like my partner just said, we should all be looking out for the betterment of the whole view, not just the I view, if you will.
That'll make us a better community, a better nation. And I think, we've gotten away from that. So let's find ways to bring us together, not separate us more.
Well, and one of the ways that people try to come together, I tell you what, Saturdays college football's picking up, and it's a great way to bring people together. It's been fun to watch college football up over the recent weeks. Indiana, Hoosier, who?
That's my favorite team. That's the team I want to win. Of all the teams, talk about a dark horse, a team that nobody would have ever thought that would get to this point and has no history of winning. Love to see. The last time I remember Indiana being good, Randall L. was their quarterback.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that was quite a while ago.
That catch over the weekend against Penn State, honestly, might be one of my top 5 catches I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, they showed that, and it was a great catch. Honestly, though, should they have been in that situation? Then we're talking Penn State now.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been in that situation. They should have run roughshod in that game, but maybe they needed that as kind of the wake-up call. I mean, look at that. You got Ohio State, Indiana, you got Texas A&M, and I believe the number 4 is Ole Miss right now.
What?
SEC
Where's
and
Georgia?
Big Ten.
Where's Alabama? Where's Tennessee and Texas? And I love it.
They're not far behind.
Right. But I love that because that's what I'd rather see. I'm tired of seeing those big-time colleges who basically get every single good recruit because they're the big-time college, and these other teams haven't been able to compete. And maybe that's what NIL is doing, that's allowing other teams to be more competitive.
Yep. Nope. Kurt Signetti, hats off to you. I hope you don't go trade in your job from Indiana and go somewhere else. They did re-sign him to a long-term after all the shuffle up, so hopefully he stays there. We'll get into that whole discussion about coaching contracts and stuff at another time, but I'm glad that he will be loyal to one school. That's all. That's something that's lacking in all sports right now. And
a great story too of how he got there.
Yes.
So love that story. Indiana, as much as I'm not really an Indiana fan historically, I am rooting for you. I hope that you do well and go and win the darn thing, baby.
Think about it this way. You've got Indianapolis Colts. You got Indiana football. The Cavaliers are on the come up. The Bengals are actually fun to watch on offense.
Yeah, on one side of the ball.
And Ohio State football. That's a hell of a situation between Indiana and Ohio right now, between those two states over there. There's a lot of breeding of football and basketball going on around there.
Midwest, baby, Midwest.
Let's not forget about the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark.
Which actually, the Indiana Fever did really well without her last year.
Think about that.
Yeah, think about that.
Aaliyah Boston, Sophie Cunningham. You got all those characters back. You got a title. You got a natty again. You got a title.
Hey, and again, something to go back to real quick, and we will be closing up. The fans, remember, you're a fan of a team. There are many different kinds of flavors of ice cream on that team. Enjoy it. Enjoy the rainbow that you have there. Let's not single out things. Let's not bring hate into the equation. Let's bring, I know it sounds corny, love, but let's bring excitement and joy to those occasions. Not bringing people down, not shouting things, not doing that kind of stuff, because that just takes away from the fun of the entertainment, and it doesn't respect the athletes or the sport.
Yep, absolutely. No, like I said, that's where I love college football. 80,000 fans cheering it on every weekend. Hopefully keep it classy, but at the same time, that rivalry of sport and stuff, that's what makes it all fun in all this, thing that we talk about and that we try to enjoy.
All right, we bid you all a wonderful day. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the upcoming sports, and get prepared for the holiday season. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, y'all.
Yes, sir. And we'll get into our Chiefs and the need to win for the next 7 weeks, unfortunately. Try to get in the playoffs.
Go Chiefs. Go Bears.
Heck yeah. And let's a little bit of that. All right.
All right, partner. Be well, sir.
Thanks, guys.
All right.